All right, at this point of the unit, we're actually kind of switching gears to doing what's called cross sections. And cross sections are just the intersection of a 3D object with a plane. So for instance, like a plane, it's like I've taken like a piece of paper, and it's kind of hard to visualize without actual 3D paper, you know? But it's like I've taken like a piece of paper and I've gone through and cut through this cylinder. And when you've cut through it, so if I just go through, that was a horrible picture, but if I cut through with like a knife through a cylinder, the cross section is the shape you get on the face where that intersection took place. Okay, so there are some possible cross sections. It's kind of hard to see without like just kind of trying and diving right in. But one of the possibilities that you can have is if you take a horizontal cross section, then you get a circle, right? So the face, oh, that's dotted back there, would look like so. And I'm just going to highlight the face a little bit. So that's the cross section. So that's with a horizontal, just slicing right through. There are some other options you could have. You could also get a rectangle if I cut vertically, like so. And that's because you'll get this straight line. It'll come through the top, and then through the through there, or through the backside and through the bottom. So it'll get this nice little rectangle. I should have mentioned that was a circle. And this one's a rectangle. So kind of think of today as kind of like Fruit Ninja. You're trying to see what possible shapes you can get if you like take your blade and just slice through these. Okay. Another thing you could get is a oval. So you could get the oval by slicing diagonally. So it's kind of like you go from right here. That was horrible. Let's go from this edge to this edge right there. So it's not quite a circle because it's going to be a little bit more elongated and so on. So here it is. And that's like a diagonal slice, but you're still going through these edges right here. Now, if you did a diagonal slice, but then you went through the tops, the top and the bottom, it would look kind of like an oval that just has some flat portion. So it would look kind of like this. So that's what the face is looking like. Okay. I don't know what you'd call that shape. An oval with the edges cut off. I don't know. And then there's actually another shape you could get. Imagine with me that we do something like the oval, except that only one side goes through the top or bottom. So like this, I might go around here. So I'm slicing at an angle, but at one point the blade is just going through this top portion. So this is kind of like just once again, like an oval, but with just one side chopped off. Okay, so it looks kind of like a parabola. On these two shapes, if I ask you to describe them, just do the best you can because there isn't an exact answer to that. So on homework, you might have stuff like this where I tell you to draw and describe the following cross sections. So if it's a horizontal cross section, drawing it would look like this, where I actually go into the shape and show what the cross section would be inside. So like that. Okay. And this shape, since the top is a circle, the bottom is a circle, the shape is just going to be a circle. So that's describing it, where we actually say what the cross-section would be. Some more Fruit Ninja. This time we're going straight through, so we're going vertically. So we're cutting it in half. And maybe I shouldn't cut it that way. I'm going to do it kind of at a slant. Actually, I'm going to cut it this way. You'll see it better this way. So if I go vertically, but I'm coming through the top and then just slice down these two edges right here that we can see, which they're rounded, so they're not actually really edges. And then the bottom's not shown, so I'm going to make that dotted line. You'll notice right there, so if you chop through the top, right through the center, you're going to get a trapezoid. And that will even be true if you even come forward and it's not straight through the center. The center one's just the easiest one to see, because Because even if I came like right here and then went down like so, you'd still get a trapezoid-like shape. And then let's go ahead and do another one. So we're going to do a tilted horizontal one. Same shape. So tilted horizontal, I could go kind of like this. So I might say something along the lines of, like if you kept it within this range, you could do kind of what we did before, where it's kind of like a little oval shape. Or you could say a trapezoid with rounded edges, depending on how much you actually cut it, or at what angle you cut it at. So like this right here, they would round as they come out this way, like so. So it would kind of look like this if I showed you the shape like that. So it looks something like this. So you could say like a trapezoid with rounded edges. And even that oval shape I showed wasn't going to be an actual true oval. So kind of the same idea. That looks kind of horrible. I'm going to fix it a little bit. That looks a little better. So then I might ask you to draw the requested cross section. So I want you to draw a square. So that's where you just show me where you'd be slicing through, where the square would show up. So if I just come straight down vertically, you could also do it horizontally, like so. Since the face of a cube is a square, it'll give you a square. So right in here. And notice the faces that I'm not showing, or that are not visible, I put dotted lines on those ones. But I'm showing you exactly where the blade would be cutting through. And if you want to, you can imagine it as like this huge blade like this, coming through and slicing through this whole object. Okay, it's just like coming straight down. Let's do the rectangle. So a rectangle, there's a couple different ways that I've seen people do it. So I've seen people do it where they go, let me show an edge that's a little better. So they'll take one edge to another edge and go along the diagonal. Pretend that's straight. So there's a rectangle right there. And that works great. I'm going to go ahead and show another version though. I've seen other people take a corner and they just cut straight down to the other corner, like so. And you've got the rectangle shape. So you're just cutting off those two front corners on that square. So those are two different possibilities. Just a few more I want to go through. So triangle, kind of like the rectangle, you can do it, but just cut off one corner. So I could just cut this one corner off right here, and you get a triangle. Just imagine them ripping that part off. Trapezoid's kind of like a triangle, or kind of like the triangle, except rather than slicing toward me, I'm going to slice away. So like if I were doing it this way, so I'm going to slice away and just go down to one of the edges down here. So I'm just coming along that front face, these two front faces from the top, slicing back, and you get the trapezoid. And let's do actually a little bit more of a difficult one. So let's think about a pentagon. So a pentagon, you'll need to hit at least 5 faces. So that's why it's kind of a little tricky for some people. I'm actually going to come from this back corner. So I'm going to come from the back corner, and I'm going to come toward me. So I'm going to, because right now we're going to be on these two faces. So face number 1 right here that I'm highlighting, and face number 2 that I'm highlighting in the back. Okay, so it's kind of hard to visualize it, I know. So on that back one, we're going to be coming along. I don't know what just happened. So on that back one, sorry, I think I just need to charge that really quick. So on this back one, we're just, yep, there we go. Coming along this back, come along this other back until we get to these two edges right here. And then I don't want to, you can actually get a hexagon, fun fact, but to get the pentagon, I just need 2 more sides. I've got 3 sides. So to get just 2 more, I just end at this point or above. So I could also end like right here and connect right at that point if I wanted, but I'll just do it right there. And then you've got a pentagon. So for homework, I want you to think about how could you get the hexagon and some of the other shapes you're going to be doing.